The psychological grip of the million-dollar myth is powerful. For the 18 to 50-year-old demographic, this number has been ingrained in our minds through movies, books, and old-school financial advice. Back in the 1980s, $1 million was an astronomical sum. It could buy a mansion, several luxury cars, and provide a lifestyle of total decadence. However, inflation has been the silent killer of that dream. If you are 25 today, by the time you reach retirement age, $1 million might have the purchasing power of what $400,000 feels like now. Many people still believe it's the safe number because it sounds large, but retirement is no longer a 10-year holiday. With modern medicine, retirement is now a 20 to 30-year journey. Costs for basic necessities are rising faster than the general rate of inflation, especially in sectors like healthcare and housing. The biggest surprise isn't necessarily how little $1 million gives you. It's the speed at which that money disappears when you aren't looking. To understand your retirement savings, we have to look at the monthly income reality. Most financial planners point to the 4% rule as a sustainable way to withdraw money without running out. If you have $1 million invested in a balanced portfolio, the math says you can safely take out about $40,000 per year. When you break that down, you are looking at roughly $3,333 per month. Now, take a second to think about your current lifestyle. For many people, $3,000 a month is closer to a modest middle-class income than a life of luxury. You have to cover your housing, food, insurance, transportation, utilities, and healthcare out of that single check. If you still have a mortgage, or if you are renting in a major city, that $3,000 is likely gone before you even have a chance to enjoy a nice dinner out. This is the moment where the millionaire title hits the brick wall of reality. It's a functional income, but it certainly isn't a blank check. The real problem isn't just the base income, it's the surprises. The hidden costs are what truly destroy a $1 million retirement. First on the list is healthcare. Even with Medicare, the out-of-pocket costs for prescriptions, dental work, and vision care can be staggering. Recent studies suggest that an average couple retiring today will need nearly $300,000 just to cover medical expenses throughout their retirement. That is nearly a third of your entire $1 million pile gone before you've even considered your grocery bill. Then there is the tax man. If your $1 million is sitting in a traditional 401k or IRA, that money hasn't been taxed yet. Every time you take a withdrawal to pay your bills, the government takes a cut. Depending on your state and your total income, your $40,000 a year could easily turn into $32,000 of actual spendable cash. Inflation is the next hidden cost. If the price of bread, milk, and electricity doubles over the next 20 years, but your withdrawal stays at $40,000, your standard of living is effectively cut in half. You also have to plan for emergencies. A roof leak, a transmission failure in your car, or a family member needing financial support doesn't stop just because you've retired. If you have to pull an extra $20,000 out of your accounts for a major repair, you are taking a massive bite out of your future compounding interest. One major home or medical expense alone can wipe out years of planned savings in a single afternoon. So what does this actually look like in practice? Let's visualize 3 different lifestyle scenarios for someone with $1 million. In scenario 1, we have the comfortable lifestyle. This retiree has a paid-off home in a low-cost area. Because they don't have a mortgage or rent, that $3,300 a month goes much further. They can afford moderate spending, they can eat out a few times a week, and they might take 1 or 2 nice domestic trips a year. This is the dream for many, but it requires having your housing completely settled before you stop working. In scenario 2, we have the tight budget. This retiree is still paying a mortgage or lives in a high-cost rental market. They are spending nearly 60% of their monthly income just on keeping a roof over their head. This leaves very little room for travel or hobbies. They have to be extremely careful with every dollar, shopping at discount grocers and skipping the expensive morning coffee. This is a far cry from the millionaire dream most people imagine when they are in their 20s. Then there is scenario 3, running out early. This happens when a retiree enters their golden years with high spending habits, perhaps trying to maintain a luxury lifestyle they had while working. They might be withdrawing $60,000 or $70,000 a year to fund travel and high-end purchases. If the stock market has a few bad years early in their retirement, their $1 million nest egg can plummet towards zero in record time. Retiring too early without adjusting your expectations is the fastest way to turn $1 million into a memory. However, there is a way to achieve financial independence and make $1 million work surprisingly well. The secret is often found in geography. If If you are willing to downsize or move to a lower cost state or even a different country, your purchasing power can double. Moving from a city like Los Angeles or New York to a small town in the Midwest or a retirement-friendly spot in South America or Europe can drastically lower your property taxes and healthcare costs. In some parts of the world, $3,000 a month buys a life of total luxury with a personal chef and a beautiful villa. This is why flexibility is the greatest asset you can have in retirement. Beyond moving, there are strategic ways to stretch that million further. One of the most powerful tools is delaying Social Security. By waiting until age 70 to collect, your monthly checks increase significantly, providing a much higher floor of guaranteed income that isn't dependent on the stock market. Another strategy is maintaining a small stream of part-time income. Working just 5 to 10 hours a week in a field you enjoy can cover your fun money, allowing your main $1 million pot to stay invested and keep growing. Some of the most successful retirees use a flexible spending rule, where they withdraw a little less during years when the market is down and only splurge during years when the market is booming. But the biggest advantage anyone can have is a paid-off house. Eliminating your largest monthly expense is the single best way to ensure your $1 million lasts for 3 decades or more. $1 million retirees' worst error is treating their money like a lottery prize instead of a paycheck. 7 figures in your bank account might make you feel unstoppable. You may think a $50,000 car upgrade or a luxurious European cruise are justified. However, substantial early retirement withdrawals are expensive because they deprive your portfolio of potential growth in your 80s and 90s. $1 million is strong if you respect math. Ignoring inflation or not planning for withdrawal taxes is like piloting a plane without a fuel gauge. How long will it last? Check the burn rate. If you spend $3,000 a month and your investments grow modestly, your $1 million may last 30 years or more, possibly expanding. But see how fast things change. Spending $4,000 a month could cut your timeline to 25 years. If you increase it to $5,000 a month, you may only have 18 to 20 years of safety. Your $1 million retirement will certainly finish in 12 to 15 years if you live lavishly and spend $6,000 a month. A $1,000 monthly budget gap can cost you a decade of retirement security. $1 million is no longer a get out of work free card. It is a great basis for a secure life, but not a guarantee of wealth. In this economy, planning is more important than account numbers. The goal shouldn't merely be to attain $1 million, whether you're 18 and starting retirement savings or 50 and nearing the finish line. Building a lifestyle within that million's reach is the goal. $1 million won't ensure a flawless retirement, but a smart plan and cost awareness will. How you live after retirement matters more than how much you have.